What's up, fam? It's Kala from Recalibrate, here with episode 6 of the Lightin Up Podcast. On today's episode, we have my friend Emily, and we're going to be talking all things water. This was a really fun episode, and I learned so much from Emily, so I'm really excited to share this one with you guys. We're going to be going over tap water versus reverse osmosis water versus Kangen water and natural spring water. We talk about our journeys with water and just all sorts of things. Emily is super knowledgeable on this subject. She has been putting in hours and hours and hours of research and time into sharing this information, so I'm really excited to share this with all of you. Please keep in mind as you're listening that nothing on this podcast ever constitutes medical advice, legal advice, professional advice, or any sort of advice. This is really just for entertainment and informational purposes only. So grab a candle, some sage, palo santo, sweetgrass, maybe some sacred smoke, definitely a glass of water, and let's lighten up together. What's up, fam? It's Kala from Recalibrate, here with my good friend Emily. And today we're going to be talking about water. But before we get into it, let's take a minute to just ground into this now moment together and be present where we're at with 3 deep breaths. So we'll breathe together, and we'll breathe in through our nose and then out through our mouth, perhaps with a sound even, to really just anchor into this moment and release any tension and just be here now. So let's breathe in through our nose and let it out. Again, deepest breath you've had all day. Last one. I just want to take a minute and light this candle, and with the intention of calling upon our ancestors, our guides, our higher selves, the water spirits, the animal spirits, the earth spirits, fairy spirits, all of the beings that are here to help us and just aid us in this transmission and this communication about the sacred waters of this earth and how we can use these waters to lighten up ourselves and our bodies and just anchor more love, light, knowing, truth, remembrance into this planet. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your protection. And with that, I think that's it. Aho. Let's get started. Let's cheers. What a great idea.
Yes.
We got that good here. So this is my friend Emily, and she, if you follow her on Instagram, she is the water queen. She has so much knowledge, insight, information about water, and I'm really excited for her to share her knowledge. So do you want to get started by just telling us a little bit about you and what you do?
What do I do? I'm a massage therapist, stay-at-home mom, just your typical feisty, redheaded, Sagittarian, naked hippie
Yes.
who loves water. But I guess my journey really began with when I was driving 2.5 hours one way to go get water from the spring in Sedona, which I know you've had that water, so you know.
Yeah, that's what I do. So
the best water.
Yeah, it's called Harding Spring if you're local in Arizona, and Emily and I have both, and a lot of people in the community actually drive the 2.5 hours, and it's like this.
Yeah, it's just off the side of the road, like a spring that they, tapped essentially, and you can just go fill up. It's running all the time, and it's like the best tasting water. Comes out ice cold, like has minerals,
It tastes wetter. I always say that water tastes wetter.
I don't know, that it is. It's good.
Why'd you start driving to Sedona to get your water?
That part I don't know. I think it was like just somebody was like, this spring water's good, and one day I was like, I'm gonna go see for myself, and I needed an adventure, so I just drove there and filled up and was like, this is the best water I've ever tasted. And so, I mean, what I think was happening for me, you know, subconsciously, because it was about like a year that I was driving up there every other week, filling up like 7 different jugs.
Dude, I'm at like my 1-year anniversary right now. It's like right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now, today. Anniversary. But yeah, what I think was happening for me subconsciously was I was rehydrating on like a deep cellular level. Because what makes that water so powerful is it comes straight from the earth, right? Like it's coming up from the earth, full of the minerals and the energetic vibration of the heart, of like the heart of the earth. So as you're drinking that water, you know, it's not only just like nourishing you on a cellular level, but it's energizing you and waking you up to, you know, the connecting your energy, I feel like, to the earth.
Right.
And so what happened for me during that same, you know, throughout that year was like I noticed my connection to the earth growing deeper. Yeah. Like I always make this joke, but like when I was a kid, like I hated outdoor shit. Like when I was 15 years old, I was on, you know, my family has like a little piece of land in Canada and on a lake. And in the middle of the night, there was like this huge Northern Lights show happening. Like, and everyone in my family like went down, they like woke me up, and I was like, I don't fucking care about some stupid lights. Like, whatever. Looking back on it now, I was like, I miss the Northern Lights. Like Aurora Borealis like happening, because I just didn't give a shit. And now, like, my connection to earth is like I believe that like that the water like opened that up for me.
Dude, yeah, I was just talking to my dad about, like, I told my parents I was doing this podcast and we were talking about water, and my dad reminded me what they teach us in school, which is that the water that exists on the planet has existed on the planet forever. So, you know, it starts as rain and then goes to the earth, and it's just constantly recycled. So this water holds all of the information, the memories of everything that's ever happened on this planet, whether it be Atlantis, Lemuria, like all of these, I got goosebumps, civilizations, like that water holds that information. And like same thing as you, like when I started drinking that water, like I had, like, I feel like my spiritual up level just catapulted, and I definitely became more grounded and connected to the earth. And it was a heavy detox for me. Like I remember talking to you, I was going through a lot of skin stuff, and I was like, girl, like, do I need to stop drinking this water? Because a lot of people ask me too, I want to touch on this, like people ask me, I've had 10 people probably ask me, do you boil it? And like,
because they're afraid of there being bacteria and stuff. But that water comes from like deep in the ground. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's like vortexing up and out at all times. Yeah. There's not time for there to be. It's not coming from like a stagnant pool, like right? And puddle or something where it's like, ooh. Yeah. And I've read that like the Sedona spring actually, like the aquifer and that water up there is actually some of the cleanest spring water in, you know, in the United States at least. Like there's a lot of springs that do have more arsenic or like things like that, but I believe that spring has been tested, and so it's they have to test it. Yeah, they have to. And, I mean, no one's gone. And there's are slight levels of things, but no, like to answer the question, like we don't boil it. We just drink it, and straight from the earth. Yeah. It's not like ice cold, like, oh, it's so good. It is so good. But no, what you were saying about how water holds memory, like that is a really, really like key component into why water is so important to me and to every single being. Like water is life, right? Yeah. Like we cannot, nothing can survive without water, right? And so the fact that water holds memory, like what does that mean? Like, I don't know if so water is a liquid crystal, right? And we know that like... Oh, I've never heard that. Yeah, so right for your mind to be blown. So water is a liquid crystal, yeah. And crystal, like the concept of the computer basically was evolved from studying crystals and how crystals can store data, right? They're like, how does this crystal like hold this memory and this data? Yeah, the first radio was crystals. Yeah, well, and we know, so water is a liquid crystal, able to store information and store data, right? And so as you're drinking the water from the earth, you are getting these downloads from the information stored in this water. Yes. Right? And so it's really, if you think about how your body is made of water, like I say, oh, you're 75% water, right? But like 99% of your cell, of a cell, one single cell, 99% of it is water. Right. And we're made up of cells. So we're literally like made up of water, of structured water.
We're just little puddles.
Yeah, we are fucking puddles. We're made up of, well, it's like, that's what's so crazy about water is it takes on so many different forms. But like if we are made up of this structured water, and we know that water holds memory, what else we know about water is that it can restructure itself in a femosecond. 1/trillionth of a second, and water can rearrange its structure. So that means that its ability to transmit and receive energy, because it rearranges itself based on different stimuli and different energies, different vibrations.
Right.
And it's storing data. Like, you're basically a liquid crystal. You're basically a crystal.
Well, and they I don't know if people have seen, but they have those studies by someone in Japan, I believe. I don't know. I'm not great at remembering stuff, but it's basically they've studied when you say different words to water, like love, hate, whatever, the water molecularizes or forms in different ways, and like you can clearly restructures. You can clearly see that like the love is so much more beautiful, and then when you say hate, it's like chaotic and stuff. So even like one thing I think that is something that everyone can implement, even if you don't want to drive 2.5 waters or 2.5 waters.
Time is water too.
Time is water too.
It's all fluid.
But you could easily, like, something everyone could incorporate is just putting intention and prayer into your water, and like honoring your water and asking it to bless and hydrate you. Is one way that everyone can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And saying like, love, I love you, water, I love you, water, thank you for healing me, water, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like, and then you drink that water, like that water is powerful.
It is powerful and abundant, and it's like the structures of your bio waters are changing all of the time based on these frequencies and these energies, and the more structured the water is, the more receptive to different energies, right? So it's like bulk water. What comes out of your tap is bulk water, basically.
Like
you
dead
turn
water.
on the faucet, and it's like that water. If you look at it under a microscope, the molecules of the water are all like clumped together, and there are no electrons. And water from the earth, because the Earth's electromagnetic field, that water is charged. It is abundant in electrons. Electrons are energy, right? You want to be drinking energized electric water. We are electric, energetic beings.
Correct.
And the water, when you turn your faucet on, like in your kitchen or whatever, that water is bulk. It's the molecules are clumped together, and there's no electrons. There's no electricity. It's dead water.
Woo! I have goosebumps.
Dead water.
Which is, I mean, what do the powers that were want from people? They want them detached from the earth, disengaged, unenergized, lethargic. The fluoride, we'll not even get into all that shit, but like, like it makes sense that they wouldn't make it easy for us to have natural, beautiful running spring water.
Right. I mean, if you, like I was saying, like this, if the water in your cell is structured and alive and energetic, right? And the water that comes out of your tap is dead. It's basically like, when you look at diseased cells, the water in that cell is unorganized. It's bulk water. And so when you're drinking this dead water, you're contributing to deteriorating the waters of your cell.
Right.
So it's like making you sick.
So it's like clumped cells and stuff, so it's just like bleh, like ugly water.
Like water molecules, and you've heard of like hydrogen bond, right? Like H2O. It's like two hydrogen, one oxygen. That makes like a water molecule, right? But when you have contaminants in the water, there's a lot more, like they can't form proper bonds, because there's like two, it like wants to be paired up properly. Right. Yeah, it's a little bit like sciencey chemistry, which I'm like, don't fully know how to explain, but when you have all these contaminants in the water cannot like structure itself. It can't form a beautiful geometric pattern, because it's like, what are all these extra things? And that's what makes it bulk, right? That's what makes it disorganized. And so you want the waters in your cells to be organized, structured. And so you want to be like drinking structured water.
Right. So how does this compare? Because I know a lot of people have in their homes, or like there's also like a counter movement of people that believe in RO water, reverse osmosis water, or like, you know, the medical grade water. Like that's what my parents have in their house, you know, because they didn't know any better. So like that's also dead water, right? Pretty much like void of...
Reverse osmosis takes the minerals out of the water.
Right.
First of all, we need minerals. Like, I think most of us know that, right? Like, you need to get a certain amount of minerals for your body, like potassium and magnesium and all that, right? To be functioning. Reverse osmosis strips the minerals out, and minerals are what make the water bond, like create a proper bond, right? So when you are reverse osmosising your water, you have taken the minerals out, so the water goes into your body looking for those minerals to pair up to complete the bond, to be the whole bond that it wants to be. So what it does is it goes into your body and finds those minerals, strips it out of your body, out of your tissues to complete the bond, and then you pee it out.
Right. Which I've heard, like, if you're doing a water fast or something, which, you know, none of this is medical advice or whatever, so, like, don't fucking sue me, you know what I mean? Like, shit, we don't know shit about shit. This is just our opinion, okay? So, but I've heard that when you're doing a water fast, that actually RO is helpful because, like, the intent with that is to detox your body. So you're for a short period of time, like, detoxing with that water. But drinking that every day, you're constantly detoxing your body of minerals that your body needs. So it's like you're actually not even really hydrating yourself in a sense. All. Yeah. And it carries no codes, no... Yeah.
It's a little weird. Because you don't want your water... Your water should be nourishing you, right? It should be... like hydrating you on a cellular level. It should be giving you electrons, energizing you, and it shouldn't be going into your body and stripping your body of minerals.
Right.
Like, water's life. It's the last thing it should be doing is taking from you. It's supposed to give to you. And so it's weird. I don't know.
Historically, all throughout history, like, humans drank the water of the earth. Like, we drank the water, and, like, not to go too dark, but to me, like, it makes perfect sense that you detach people from this water source, this source of codes and stuff, and then it's just easier to control them. So one way we can take back our power is by upgrading our water. And I've seen that in my life. And so I know we talked about the Sedona water and, like, praying over your water and these things, but I don't want to turn this into, like, a Kangen commercial, but but, like, I'm very interested in the Kangen machine, and I've drank gallons of yours and felt something, you know?
Yeah, you feel something. Well, the word, I mean, it was created by a Japanese scientist, and the word Kangen means return to origin. Because what they did was they went to these healing springs there's a couple different places around the world that have, like, really, really healing water. Like, one of them is in Lourdes, France. Like, people go there and drink that water and their illnesses are cured. Yeah. Like, that, there was, like, real documentation of that. And so what these scientists did were they were like, well, you know, science wants to know the answer to everything.
Yeah, so like, why are these people going? It
can't really just be a miracle. Like, you know, why, like, what is it that's in this water that is making it so healing? And what they found was that the water had an abundance of hydrogen. And so they were like, okay, well, what is hydrogen? Hydrogen is an antioxidant. It's the world's smallest molecule. Hydrogen goes into, like, deep into the mitochondria of our cell and hydrates it. Ooh. So antioxidants...
Feels good.
Yeah. Antioxidants basically donate an electron to a cell that's missing an electron. So any kind of a damaged cell is going to be missing an electron, and so antioxidants go in and they're like, here, you can have my extra electron. Oh, one for you, and they go into the body, basically repairing the cells that are missing an electron. Electrons are energy. Like, that is, like, your vibration, right? So
yeah, protons and electrons, isn't that, like, the basis of humanity?
Yeah.
Or, like, not humanity, like, I mean, like...
Yeah. Yes,
people can't see. I'm like the whole earth.
Well, when we talk about how, like, everything's vibration, like, it's like, it sounds like woo woo, but it's like, well, yeah, everything's frequency, everything's energy, everything's matter and energy, right? Yeah. And it's like, the water you drink should have electrons. It should be electrically charged because your body needs energy, you know.
Yeah.
So,
you were talking
just
about how
lost my
they...
train.
No, that's okay. We didn't even smoke the weed yet.
It's a good thing I was like...
Right? We'd be...
Waterman. It's so good.
Fucking waterman.
Oh my God.
We were talking about how they replicated it because of hydrogen. I mean.
So those healing waters, yes, they found out that those waters had an abundance of hydrogen. Hydrogen is an antioxidant. Antioxidants go into the body and repair damaged cells. So antioxidants are like really great for you, right? Because antioxidants are anti-aging. Like they reverse the process of aging, and they reverse the process of oxidation, and they reduce inflammation in your body. Like,
and you look great, girl.
Thank you. Antioxidants are really, really wonderful, and molecular hydrogen, which is an abundance of hydrogen, is an antioxidant. So they were like, well, we want to mimic this machine, mimic the waters found here. We can do that by electrically charging water. Will produce an abundance of hydrogen, which is an abundance of antioxidant. And so Kangen, which is the Japanese word for return to origin, is like creating a machine that produces waters that mimic the natural healing waters found.
And this was in like the 70s. And the first one was as big of as a room.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, so it was the Russians actually that were like trying to figure out why the healing waters were, and they ran out of funding, and the Japanese were like, we will do this, we'll find out. And so they mimicked that. They made this massive machine, and they used them in hospitals because of how medicinal the water is, because of how potent the antioxidants were. And it was, I'm not going to say his name. Oshiro, what?
I just burped and my microphone's like right up my throat. I was like, I wonder if people can hear it.
Oh
it's this water though.
Yeah,
it's like
it's probably already. It's like detoxing quick.
Yeah.
No, but
So they made the machine. They had it in hospitals.
Yeah. So a guy named Oshiro. We should add his proper name in the comments, so I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
But he was an executive working for Sony, and he was like, I want to make this machine so that people can have this in their homes. Like, and so he, figured out how to like shrink down the machine so it's like sits on your countertop producing medicinal water that is rich in hydrogen, and hydrogen is an antioxidant.
Right.
So the way that it does that is, there's 7, or the one I have is 8 platinum dipped titanium plates. So metal plates. The water passes over and is electrocuted, basically, like it's electrolyzed, energized, and in that process, it splits the ions. So you have an abundance of hydrogen, and the oxygen ones go out the hose out the bottom. So you're left with water that has an abundance of hydrogen.
Yeah, and when you see it, you can see like.
Oh yeah, you see the hydrogen gas.
And like if you're watching, you can kind of see like. Well, maybe you can't. I'm trying to make it so you can see.
It's mostly like right when you fresh pour it.
Yeah, but still, there's still lots of bubbles in here. And when I had a gallon from you, it had all this like sediment on the bottom.
That's the minerals. So, the way I was just talking about how like you need minerals to form the bonds, right? So this water, it keeps the minerals in the water. It uses the minerals to like form the bonds or whatever. But as the hydrogen gas like begins to dissipate, it loses that bonding. It doesn't destructure the water because there's so much in there that it's like the minerals clump together and they are at the bottom. But you can drink that. It's just like the minerals of the water. So it's like good for you, but. Okay. Yeah.
It kind of tastes weird.
I know. It's like it's the minerals at the bottom. And it doesn't always do that. I notice it does that more when my machine needs to be like cleaned. But it's harmless. Yeah. I noticed that too when I first got mine. I was like, I just spent a lot of money on it. Like, what? And then
what's this?
I got on. What? Why is there water in the? And it was like, no, it's fine. It's the minerals.
Yeah. So you obviously like noticed a major, like, because it is an investment to get a Kangen machine. Yeah. So like, you had noticed enough of a change in your life that you felt it was worth the investment. So like, I know we talked about like getting back to the earth, but like, what other changes did you make? I'm like, I can hint quitting drinking alcohol.
Yeah. So at the same time as I was like found this water and got myself a machine, like I was dealing with chronic fatigue and like really bad brain fog. Like I'd be like talking and my brain would just be like, I'm gonna shut off now. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? So I was, I had decided to like quit drinking for a little while get really clean about my eating. I was seeing a naturopath for like high dose vitamin C IVs. Like I was like, I'm doing anything. This isn't normal, and I want to know like what's wrong with me.
Yeah, because
like,
you were just like
why
tired
am I
all the
sleeping
time. Yeah.
Like I'm young. Like I'm not overweight. I don't think like it was like what this isn't adding up. I don't eat fast food. It's like, why am I so tired? What is wrong? And so I started, like I got this machine and I was like rehydrating, and I had quit drinking at the same time, which like that's a whole, I mean, we could really go into that, because when you think about like alcohol is so dehydrating, like sucking the life out of your body. I mean, it's straight poison, but it's like, we all know like, oh, you have to drink a lot of water so you don't get a hangover, you know what I mean? But it is like dehydrating you. And it's a depressant, so it is just like, it is, I mean, I truly believe that the number one thing we can do for our health is be drinking quality water.
Right.
Right? Because I think that the most important thing is hydrating your cells. Like, that is the key to health. Like, if we know that our cells are made of water and damaged cells have deteriorated water, then we should do everything to be hydrating our bodies. So when you think about like drinking alcohol, where it's like, its intention is to dehydrate you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Yeah. That's crazy.
And no judgment to anyone who drinks. Like, I drank for 32 years of my life, like I drank a lot. Like, there were a lot of times I would puke even and shit. Like, it was not cute. But I noticed that, like, before switching to the Sedona water, like, I would, kind of quit drinking for like a month or like take little breaks and stuff, but I didn't really feel the need. Like, I would say, I don't think I'll ever like quit drinking alcohol. And then when I started drinking the Sedona water, and I mean, I did other things too, like some other plant medicine ceremonies and stuff, like all of a sudden one day I was just like, I'm not going to drink anymore. Yeah. And now by the time this is released, it'll have been 6 months. And like, I think that it's really just like, and that's not to say that if I ever go to an event, like a wedding or something, like I won't have a glass of champagne, you know what I mean? Like, but just the, I have a completely different relationship with alcohol now, where I see, like, I used to think I needed it to dance, to do anything silly, to be myself, to ask a guy out, to do all these things. And now I've been able to see, like, I don't need those things. And I attribute a lot of these upgrades and knowings to the water. Yeah. Yes. I mean, because, like, just hydrating your body, you kind of are like, why would I want to dehydrate it? It's like you feel so much better that you don't really ever want to feel not great. Yeah, that is true. But I mean, it makes you wonder, like, why is alcohol legal, but like mushrooms aren't? When like alcohol like makes you depressed, dehydrates you, keeps you sick. Anytime something's like, promoted in the media heavy, or anywhere heavy, or, society, I'm like, why though? Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like, why are they poisoning our drinking water? Yeah. If we know that, like, water holds memory, and that, like, our bodies are, like, made of water, and that water is a liquid crystal, and so we are essentially, like, a fucking crystal. Yeah. Like, it's just, like, the waters in your body are what make you, like... Connected. We're doing the connected to source, and like what make you receive like the frequencies of consciousness. Right? It literally elevates your frequency. Yeah, it elevates your consciousness, and so it's like, well, why are they poisoning our water? Mm-hmm. Why is our water dead? Why is it full of contaminants and stuff? And why do I want this drink? Yeah. Exactly. I feel like it just allows that space to reflect on it, and so back to your story, like you seem to like you got rid of all of those issues. Like, how long did it take, and did you feel shitty first? Well, only for like maybe like 2 days. The first 2 days I had my machine, I had a very mild headache, and I never get headaches, so I was like, oh, this is detox. But that was the only detox symptom that I had. But it was like within that week. I mean, the water works so, like, this water is so antioxidant potent that it's like, it detoxes you like instantly and energizes you instantly. Yeah. So it's like within that first week I was like, oh, I'm noticing it. And like now I don't have chronic fatigue. I have brain fog sometimes, but that's just from like, what? Before did I eat anything? Yeah. Coffee? No, but yeah, all of my symptoms are gone. Before we started this, I was like feeling a little low, and I was like, oh, I should have gotten like a coffee or something. But I really do feel more energized even just with this water. Like I feel like, and it, like I could tell myself, like if you tell yourself this water is energizing, then it's like, it's gonna be.
Well, there's a thing we say too, like to wake up to water is to wake up to yourself. So like as you are hydrating each and every single one of your cells, like you're opening your channels essentially to receive those downloads, like from the water, the codes that are held in the actual water itself, but like to be an open transmitter of, you know, energy, vibration, consciousness.
Yeah.
It's like there's like water is life.
Yeah.
It is. It's like it's like everything.
When you said wake up to water, I thought you meant that you wake up and drink water first thing every day, which you do, which you do. And I was like, that's also a practice that has, like, because I still, you know, I tried quitting coffee, but I still do drink coffee sometimes every day. And
I keep feeling like I'm gonna quit tomorrow. I love it too much.
I know, I love it.
I drink water first.
Yeah, but I started
like
drinking.
Chug,
I started drinking water first, and that has helped my mornings in life. You know, just waking up, chugging water, then I have some herbs, and then I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hydration is like key.
Yeah.
It means everything.
Well, do you feel like you have anything else, like, you're like, I gotta tell the people about this with water?
I mean, I could talk all day.
I know.
But no, I think that it's just, it goes beyond just, like, a physical necessity, right? Like we say, like, you have to drink water or you'll die, right? Like, you gotta be hydrated. But really understanding that, like, hydrating yourself physically hydrates you mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. You know what I mean? Like everything is energetic exchange. And when you're like re-energizing your cells from proper hydration, it's like you're in flow, man. Like
literally
flow for real.
It is the flow.
Like it really it hydrates your whole life.
Right. So I guess don't feel bad about the water you're drinking. Oh, you know what we should talk. You know what we should.
Don't feel bad about it if you're drinking bottled water. Like.
But one thing I want to talk about that you, dude. Okay, first thing I want to preface this by saying, like, please just go follow Emily on Instagram. It's Emily at Emily Y.
Emily IC.
IC. Oh.
EYEC.
Oh, okay. The
We'll
letter
just,
C.
Put it
We'll obviously put it in the show notes, but like. Follow her because there's so much helpful information on her page. But one thing I do want to talk about before we get out of here is the fucking bottled water, the alkaline water.
Okay. Bottled water is a fucking scam, okay? They took what's free, a beautiful gift from the earth that flows in abundance, and they were like, we're going to take that, and then we're going to sell it to people.
Right.
And everyone was like,
okay.
Oh, well, I guess we'll buy it, because they were like, it's water scarcity. I mean, that's a whole other podcast, but
we'll get
but water scarcity, people are like, oh, whatever. It's like, they literally, so bottled water is tap water. Like it is. Like, if people are like, the Fiji water, and it's like, that's not.
I've heard that I saw one person do a thing, and they said Fiji was like the best if you had to like get water from a store.
It's not. Good. I just bought Evian, or I don't even know how to say it, which is like from the French Alps or whatever, which was one of the first bottled water companies, because I posted about it and my brother was like, it's the best. He lives in France. Sorry if you're listening, but it's fine. He's cool. He was like, you shouldn't be talking shit on Evian. Like, it is actually good. And so I was like, I'm gonna fucking march my ass to the store. And I bought a case of Evian so I could come home and, like, test it. And it's like, yeah, it's true to the pH, but, like, it doesn't have any electrons. Like, it's not, there's no antioxidants. It's not, and any water sitting in a plastic bottle for who knows how many years. Like, the expiration date on water is, like, pretty stretched. Because they're like, this can't really go bad.
But does Sedona water have any... What did you just say?
Electrons, yeah. It does because, like,
because of the earth.
Yeah. I mean, they dissipate pretty quickly because, I mean, it's like, it's like upflowing. I mean, that water, like, vortexes and, like, the water in, like, streams and lakes and ocean waves and all that, like, it's moving, right? So it's going to have electrons to it. so it has some component of being electrically charged, like just from being in the earth and like sitting in her vibration, you know, it's going to have that energetic vibration. But with the water from the machine, I mean, that shit is like charged.
Yeah.
So like it's like really like antioxidant. Potent. But yeah, then there's electrons.
And then on the alkaline water, how you talked about how they actually just like add chemicals.
Yeah. So like Essentia is one of the worst brands because they're like, we're 9.5 pH, right? So that is literally just like tap water, acidic tap water that they took and they added like baking soda and potassium chloride and like whatever, and which raises the pH. So like when you test it, it's like, oh yeah, it like tests on the scale 9.5 whatever. But as soon as like, so then I like blew a straw into it, so as soon as I like add oxygen, it changes on the pH scale, it drops right back into acidic because it's a chemical change versus a molecular change. pH stands for potential hydrogen, which means how much hydrogen is in a substance. So when you are testing the potential hydrogen, you know, pH of bottled water and it tests high, you can just change that by adding chemicals. But it's not, there isn't any more hydrogen in the water.
It's just salt.
Yeah, so it's fucking crazy because, I mean, you can, it's whatever into it. So you think that adding baking soda to your water is doing anything for your health?
Yeah, no.
No.
It's like how I've heard like blood pressure medication just like lowers the number, but it doesn't actually do anything to like, you know, again, I'm not a fucking doctor, but like, you know, there's certain things that they just make it like, it's like, oh, well, the number's low, but it doesn't actually do the thing that they're saying it
that's
does.
what bottled water claiming to be alkaline is a scam.
So you might, if you're have to get bottled water if you're like gonna die, you know.
Don't bother buying.
Just buy the fucking cheapest one.
Literally buy Kroger, like, you know, whatever they're probably.
Because it's all tap water.
It's all tap water.
And the fucking pH, all the pH waters are pretty much bullshit. All the alkaline waters.
Yeah. It's literally fake alkaline. You blow into it with a straw, because you put the drops in, right, and it tests like purple. That's like high alkaline is like purple, right? And acidic is like orange, let's just say on the scale. When you blow air into it, it changes like within a second. It was like right to orange. Wow. It was like, okay, so now it's acidic.
And you have oxygen in you, right? So would it become acidic like once you breathe? Is that a stupid question?
What do you mean?
Like once you drink that water, then does it interact with like the oxygen in your body at all?
I saw a crazy experiment that was like, you know how baking soda and vinegar like do that? Like when you mix them, it's like does that crazy thing. Well, if your stomach is acidic, which like vinegar is acidic, and you're drinking baking soda water, when you drink that water, it's probably not good for your stomach. I don't think it's like causing like a fucking eruption, but it's like probably not doing
ideal.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Drinking baking soda water. But drinking like hydrogen rich water doesn't have any effect on the pH of your stomach, because that is one misconception that gets talked about. Was like, well, you don't want to drink high pH because your stomach acid it's supposed to be acidic. Drinking hydrogen rich water doesn't change the pH of your stomach acid. It just goes in and absorbs into your cells and alkalizes your blood. You know what I mean? Like, it's not changing. So don't believe that lie when you read about alkaline water.
All right.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah, so there's a lot to it, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the important thing for people to remember is, like, it comes in steps, and, like, you know, obviously you can't, I don't know how much Kangen machines are, but, like, not everyone can go out and buy one tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, but there are little things you can do, like, be aware of what bottled water you're purchasing and realize you don't need to buy that shit, praying over your water, driving up to get spring water if that's within your...
And playing in waters.
Swimming
and sitting, I mean... Well, whole nother podcast, but like we literally evolved from ocean water. Okay, like that's a whole thing. It's so crazy. But like, have you ever gone to the ocean and been like, oh, home? Like, like who? I mean, I'm sure there's people that don't like that.
I think there's all sorts of people who evolved from all sorts of shit here too, honestly. But
yeah, like, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like, ocean water is like so healing.
Yeah.
Bodies of water are so
rivers,
healing.
creeks, all that shit.
And it's because of that memory that they hold. They're like telling you something about like where you came from. Mm-hmm. And they're energized. There's like life in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I do
it's
know
like,
what you mean.
Yeah, it's like we all love going out and playing in the rain. Like, water is so healing.
It is.
So healing on so many different levels. It's so good. Let's drink some more.
Let's drink some more, and then let's pull.
Yeah.
Here, I'm like, can we pour it right here?
It probably...
Has it been sitting too long?
Yeah, it's not gonna
do it, but look at the bubbles.
Look at the beauty.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. Emily, I would be honored if you would pull a card from this deck that you picked out ahead of time, The Whispers of the Ocean.
Whispers of the Ocean.
This is by Angela Hartfield, and we'll just see.
Also, we need to just admire your shirt here for a second.
I specifically wore this ocean shirt.
Workout on it. That's so good.
I was like, what's the most water shirt I have?
I wore my mermaid tail.
I know. You're wearing a blue shirt too. Yeah. We were like, water! Water's biggest fans. We love water.
Oh my gosh, when I was a teenager, my cousin and I, one day in the kitchen, we were filling shot glasses with water, and we're like, yeah, we're just getting so hydrated over here.
I think every kid did that. We did that too. I'm like, yeah.
And it's just so funny, fast forward, however many years of, me drinking, actually a lot of alcohol, and, come back around that, I'm like, I fucking love water. So, I wake up and I'm like, yeah! And I, look at my water, and I, drink water, all day long, and I'm, actually stoked to be getting hydrated. I'm like, that's stunning, because I did it as, a joke, and now it's,
life.
I fucking love getting hydrated. It's so great.
It's
do
amazing.
I, shuffle them, or?
I'm pretty, yeah, you can do whatever.
So can you show the box?
Whatever feels most natural for you. You can't fuck it up. There's no wrong answer. But we'll just see what...
I love these.
They're beautiful. What the Channel Day Emily has for the collective.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be juicy. I love these. I really love these.
I know, I do too. What you got for us?
Enjoy the journey.
Oh, enjoy the journey of your water.
Stay present and flexible. Many changes are going on for you and around you. These changes are not only good, but necessary. Bring your awareness into the now rather than focusing on the past or the future. Yeah, I'd say the collective is going through a fucking journey, a trip.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
Waves are crashing.
Enjoy the journey.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
I'll just put it in the bag.
It's okay. Most people just listen instead of watch, but... Yes! That's perfect! And, enjoy the journey of your water. Everything is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be fun, and...
Jump in puddles.
Yeah.
Swim naked.
Play naked, yes. Fire.
Fire. Water, fire.
Water, fire. Fire, water.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Emily. And like I said, everyone, please go follow Emily. Emily, EYEC. I'll post it in the description of the video. But like I said, she has so many awesome resources on her story highlights, on her page. And she's constantly talking shit about water and the government. Not talking shit about water, but talking her shit. Talking her shit about how much she loves water, and I've learned so much from you. So.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too. This was so much fun. Thank you, and thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate you so much, and yeah, lighten up, baby.
Go drink a glass of water. Big old glass of water. No, for real.
Right now, for real.
It doesn't matter if tap water is your only option. Bless it. Ask it to structure itself, whatever. But just go drink a big glass of water and have appreciation for this blessing.
Cheers to that. Before we get out of here, I just want to add one more thing that Emily told me after we had finished recording, and that is that if you do want to get bottled water, or if you find yourself having to get bottled water, the best quality bottled water that she's been able to find in the stores is the Mountain Valley spring water. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that this one is actually the sparkling water version, but they have a natural spring water that has a red label on it. So if you find yourself in a store wanting to get bottled water, don't waste your time buying Essentia and those other bottles. This is the best one that you can find in the stores. So I wanted to pass along that information to all of you. I wanted to thank Emily one more time for coming on. It was such a pleasure to sit down with her. I really enjoyed listening to this podcast again myself. So I hope you guys got something out of it. Thank you so much for taking the time to light up with me. I hope that you can carry this light with you through the remainder of your week. I love you so much.
Still hazy, funk past J's, and face the blunt ashtrays and skate with punk kids. I still chase the sun, bad days. I'm lacing up half cabs and shake junk spliffs. Whatever happened to rap, it should rest in peace to Mac, and I'm here to raise it from the dead. Cause drugs ain't cool, kid, plug you with that new shit. Turn water to wine and break bread. And if I said this all the future, would you trust I told the truth, or would you run away and tell my whole fan base? Cause sooner or later, kid, they'll take your human nature and they'll burn you at the stakes while the band plays. So, in the last words, better speak up now. I said, why do birds sing? What's a king without a crown? They all stood in silence while they listened to the sound of a madman reason with the demons he found. You can't lock up ideas, we don't even exist. I just live through the speakers and the beats that we kick. Is this forbidden fruit from the Garden of Eden? Is it freedom of speech, or am I speaking for freedom?